To solve a quadratic, first thing you need to do is get it equal to 0. So I'm just going to write it out first of all. And then I'm going to draw my lines down so I can show the examiner what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is take away 6x both sides. So it's going to be x squared plus 7x minus 14 equals minus 10. And then I'm going to get rid of that minus 10, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So it's going to be x squared plus 7x minus 4 equals 0. Now the first thing I do is look at it and go, can I factorise it? Well, given the fact that it wants an answer correct to 2 decimal places, that's a bit of a hint that you're not going to be able to factorise it. Because when you factorise it, you'll normally end up with a much nicer number. And if the coefficient of x squared is 1, you'll end up with an integer. So we're going to have to use the quadratic formula, and there are other methods, but the most common one is the quadratic formula, so that's what I'm going to do. So the quadratic formula says x equals minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now you might say to yourself, well, what is a, b and c? Well, hopefully you don't, because if you're doing this question, I would assume you do know what the a, b and c are. But for those of you who don't, a is the number before the x squared, b is the number before the x, and c is the leftover number. Now, the number before the x squared is 1, because there's no number there, so it's 1. The number before the x is 7, and the number on its own is minus 4, and that's really important that you understand that that's not 4, that's minus 4. So when I substitute it in, so b was 7, so it's minus 7 plus minus square root of b squared, well that's going to be 7 squared, so I know that's going to be 49, so I might as well write 49. Now it's minus 4 times a times c. Now a is just 1, so we can ignore that. Minus 4 times c, which is minus 4. Well, minus 4 times minus 4 is going to be a positive 16 over 2 times 1, which is just 2. Now you could, at this very early point, just type this into the calculator and that would be absolutely fine. Just make sure you put brackets around this and put any negatives in using the special minus button, which on the Casio calculators is 2 spaces above the 7. Okay, let's keep going there. So I might as well just type this in now. Well, I can finish it off. I can do the 49 plus 16 without a calculator. So let's keep going. Let's do it without a calculator for a little bit. So that's going to be square root of 65 over 2. Okay, this plus minus thing here just means that there's going to be a plus answer and a minus answer. So we split it up into 2 at this point. We have x equals minus 7 plus root 65 over 2, and we have x equals minus 7 minus root 65 over 2. And what you can do is just type that into your calculator, press the fraction button, then minus 7 plus root 65 over 2, and then you press equals, and that gives an answer for us. So I'm going to put that straight in, I think. No, I'm going to show the examiner, I know. I'm going to show the examiner. So 0.531128 blah blah blah. And then what you can do is, on the Casio calculators, you can just use the cursor button, which is the big blue round one, to move across, go to that plus, delete it, and change it for a minus. It saves you having to write the whole thing out again. And then let's have a look. And if yours comes up as a fraction or something, just press the S to D button. It converts it. That's minus 7.5531128 blah blah blah. Okay, it says to round it to 2 decimal places, does it? Yeah. So we want 0.53. So 0.53. What else? Minus 7.53. So minus 7.53. There's our answers.